If you can't focus when you have multiple tasks demanding your attention, I need you to hear this. It's not your discipline, it's not your willpower, and it's definitely not that you're not trying hard enough. The real reason you can't focus is that your nervous system is completely overwhelmed, and no productivity hack is going to fix that. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why scattered attention is actually a nervous system problem and the 3 practices that will bring you back to calm, grounded focus. I used to think I was terrible at focusing. I'd have 10 things on my plate and my brain would just freeze. I'd jump between tasks, finish nothing, and feel like a failure by the end of the day. So I tried all the productivity advice: time blocking, Pomodoro technique, eliminating distractions, getting up earlier, and none of it worked. Because I was treating focus like a discipline problem when really it was a regulation problem. Then I learned something that changed everything. When you have too many tasks, your nervous system goes into overwhelm. And when your nervous system is dysregulated, your brain literally cannot focus. Not because you're weak, but because survival mode doesn't allow for deep focus. It scatters your attention to scan for threats. And until you regulate your nervous system first, no amount of willpower will help you concentrate. Here's what we're covering. First, why having multiple tasks actually breaks your ability to focus. Second, the 3 signs that your focus problem is really a nervous system problem. And third, the 3 practices that will regulate your system so focus becomes natural again, not forced. Let's start with what nobody talks about. Multitasking doesn't just make you less efficient, it literally dysregulates your nervous system and destroys your ability to focus on anything. Here's what happens in your brain when you have too many tasks. Every open task is an open loop in your mind. Every unfinished thing is a little alarm going off in the background saying, don't forget this, don't forget this. And when you have 5, 10, 20 open loops, your nervous system interprets that as overwhelm, as too many things to track, as danger. So your brain shifts into survival mode. And in survival mode, you don't get deep focus, you get scattered attention. Because your primitive brain thinks you need to keep scanning for all the threats, monitoring all the demands, staying alert to everything at once. This is why you can't focus on one thing. Your nervous system won't let you. It thinks focusing on one thing means dropping all the other balls, and that feels unsafe. Think about it. When you're truly calm and regulated, focusing is effortless. You can sit down, work on one thing, get into flow, lose track of time. But when you're overwhelmed with multiple tasks, you can't even read a paragraph without your mind wandering to everything else you need to do. That's not a focus problem. That's a nervous system stuck in hypervigilance. Here's the truth that the productivity world doesn't want you to know. You cannot hack your way to focus when your nervous system is dysregulated. No app, no technique, no time management system will work if your body is in fight or flight. Because focus requires safety. It requires a nervous system that's calm enough to let you drop into one thing without constantly scanning for what else needs attention. This is why all those productivity tips feel impossible to implement when you're overwhelmed. They're asking your nervous system to do something it's biologically incapable of doing in that state. They're asking you to have parasympathetic focus while you're in sympathetic activation. It's like asking someone having a panic attack to just calm down and meditate. The advice isn't wrong. The timing is wrong. So the solution isn't better focus techniques. The solution is nervous system regulation first, then focus becomes possible. You don't force yourself to concentrate. You create the conditions where concentration happens naturally. That's the shift. Now, how do you know if your focus problem is actually a nervous system problem? Here are the 3 signs that overwhelm has hijacked your attention. Sign number 1. You can't start anything because you're thinking about everything. You sit down to work on task A, but your mind is already on task B, C, D, and E. You're not present with what's in front of you because you're mentally juggling all the other things you need to do. So you end up doing nothing well because you're trying to do everything at once in your head. This is mental fragmentation. Your attention is scattered across multiple demands and your nervous system is trying to track all of them simultaneously. It's exhausting, and it's why you feel drained even when you haven't actually completed anything. You've been spending energy keeping all those plates spinning in your mind instead of focusing on one task at a time. Sign number 2. You're busy all day, but nothing important gets done. You're constantly moving, constantly doing, constantly checking things off But at the end of the day, you look at your list and realize you only did the urgent, shallow tasks. The deep work, the important stuff, the things that actually matter, you didn't touch them. Because deep focus requires a regulated nervous system. And when you're dysregulated, you can only handle reactive, surface level tasks. This is the urgency addiction. Your nervous system is stuck in crisis mode, so you gravitate toward anything that feels urgent. Emails, messages, quick tasks, little fires to put out. Because these give you the illusion of productivity while keeping you in that activated state. But they don't require real focus. They just keep you busy. And busy is not the same as focused. Sign number 3. Switching between tasks feels impossible. You know you should focus on one thing at a time, but you can't help checking your phone, opening new tabs, jumping to different tasks. Your brain is constantly seeking stimulation, novelty, anything to pull you away from what you're doing. This isn't lack of discipline. This is a dysregulated nervous system seeking relief from the discomfort of sustained attention. When your system is overwhelmed, staying with one thing feels uncomfortable, almost painful, so you escape by switching. You get a little hit of dopamine from the new task, the new notification, the new distraction. But you never actually settle into focus. You just keep bouncing from thing to thing, exhausting yourself without making real progress. If even one of these resonates, here's what you need to understand. You're not bad at focusing. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. And the path forward isn't more discipline, it's regulation. It's teaching your body that it's safe to drop into one thing at a time. Now here's how you actually fix this. These aren't focus hacks, these are nervous system practices that create the foundation for natural, sustainable focus. Practice number 1, close the loops before you start. This is the game changer. Before you try to focus on your priority task, spend 5 minutes closing all the open loops in your mind. Write down every single thing that's demanding your attention. Every task, every worry, every don't forget. Get it all out of your head and onto paper. Here's what this does. It signals to your nervous system that you're not forgetting anything, that all those things are captured and safe, that you can focus on one thing without dropping all the others. This single practice can shift you from overwhelm to clarity in minutes. I call this a brain dump, and it's not optional when you have multiple tasks. It's the prerequisite for focus, because your mind will not let you focus on one thing while it's trying to remember 10 other things. Once everything is written down, your system relaxes, the alarm bells quiet, and suddenly focusing becomes possible. Do this every single morning before you start working, and whenever you feel your attention scattering throughout the day, pause, brain dump again, close the loops, then return to your one priority task. Practice number 2, single task with nervous system support. This is where most people go wrong. They try to force themselves to single task through willpower alone. But if your nervous system is still activated, willpower won't work. You need to give your system the safety cues that make single tasking feel possible. Here's what this looks like practically. Before you start your focused work, regulate your nervous system first. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Put your hand on your heart. Look around the room and notice that you're safe right now. These simple actions tell your nervous system, we're okay, we can settle here. We don't need to scan for threats. Then set a realistic time boundary. Don't try to focus for 3 hours when your system can only handle 20 minutes. Start with where you are. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Tell yourself, for these 20 minutes, I'm only doing this one task. Everything else can wait. And because you've given yourself permission to come back to the other tasks, your system relaxes. After 20 minutes, take a break. Stand up, move your body, look away from the screen. Then decide, do another 20 minutes or switch tasks. You're building your capacity for sustained focus slowly, in doses your nervous system can handle. This is gentle titration for focus. It's the same principle we use for presence. Start small, build gradually, honor your limits. Practice number 3, separate urgency from importance. This is the spiritual practice of focus, because most of what feels urgent isn't actually important. It's just activating. And when you're dysregulated, you can't tell the difference. Here's what you do. At the start of each day, before the urgency hits, identify your one most important task. Not urgent, important. The thing that actually moves your life forward. The deep work, the meaningful project, the thing that matters. Write it down. and commit to doing that one thing before you touch anything urgent, before you check email, before you respond to messages, before you put out fires. Your most important work gets your regulated, focused attention first. Everything else gets whatever's left. This is how you break the urgency addiction, because when you train yourself to prioritize importance over urgency, you're teaching your nervous system that not everything is a crisis, that you can be calm and still be productive, that focus doesn't require panic, and over time, your system learns to regulate even when there's a lot on your plate. The key is protecting that first hour of your day for your most important work. Make it sacred, make it non-negotiable. Let the urgent things wait. They'll still be there. But if you give your focused attention to urgency first, the important work never happens. And that's how you stay busy but never make progress. Here's what I want you to understand. Having a lot of tasks doesn't mean you can't focus. It means you need to support your nervous system so focus becomes possible. And that support comes from 3 simple practices: close the loops, single task with regulation, and prioritize importance over urgency. We covered why multitasking destroys focus. It dysregulates your nervous system and scatters your attention. We identified the 3 signs your focus is overwhelmed: mental fragmentation, urgency addiction, and constant task switching. And we walked through the 3 practices that create calm, grounded focus even when you have a million things to do. This isn't about becoming superhuman, it's about becoming regulated. It's about giving your nervous system what it needs so your brain can do what it's designed to do. Focus deeply on one thing at a time. So here's your practice for today. Before you dive into your task list, do a brain dump. Write down everything. Then pick your one most important task. Regulate your nervous system with 3 deep breaths. Set a timer for 20 minutes and just focus on that one thing. That's it. Don't try to do everything. Just do one thing well. You'll be amazed at how much easier focus becomes when you stop fighting your nervous system and start supporting it instead. Let me know in the comments, which practice are you trying first? And what's the one most important task you're committing to today? I want to hear from you. You're not scattered, you're not undisciplined, you're just overwhelmed. And now you know exactly what to do about it. You've got this.